My dad was hit by a car and I was very happy. Relatable. What's up, Scrubs and David's mom? We are reacting to My Story Animated today, another channel that does animations that are apparently real stories. So someone out there was happy that their dad got hit by a car. Is their dad like Orochimaru or someone really bad? So anyway, they gave me permission to react to their channel. So thank you so much, My Story Animated. Check them out down below. Okay, let's just jump into it. I was glad my mother fell down the stairs. That's gonna be the next video.
Hi, my name is Adriana, and I want to share with you the worst experience I ever went through. My dad, who has been my rock for my whole life, has started to just completely break down. And I don't know what it means for me or my future. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Okay,
Let me
yeah.
take you to when it all started.
I'm just picturing him being hit by a car now.
My dad has always been a good guy. We have a good relationship. We've bonded over a lot of stuff.
Aw, that's so cool.
But that didn't last for long. In fact, our relationship became anything but normal. One morning, while I was having breakfast before school, he came thundering down the stairs with the angriest look in his eyes. My little sister Jenny and I were freaking out. We'd never seen him so mad. He started ranting and raving about loud music and how disrespectful us kids were these days.
I think that is the exact point he transitioned into an old man. Usually when you're an old man, you start shaking your fist up in the air. Why you little... Wait, that's Homer. Kids these days, they don't get it. And then he stumbled out in the street and got hit by a car. Okay, like, how is this gonna happen? I'm very curious to see how this is going to transition into that and why you were happy about it. I guess if he keeps this up.
No more music after 9 p.m. or you're grounded.
Oh, what the heck?
I didn't understand it. I don't either. Any music last night. I just watched Netflix and went to sleep at 10. But I didn't want to piss him off, so I made sure to turn off my laptop at 9 and just scroll through Instagram until I fell asleep.
You're liking those pictures too loud! Do headphones not exist? I'm assuming they don't have any headphones or anything. It seems like there's something really wrong with the dad. I don't know, maybe he's senile. I really don't know.
It didn't help. Dad came downstairs again the next morning, raging like a bull. Accusing me of playing music in my room again.
What?
Oh my God, it was beyond a joke now. Dad, I didn't, I swear, I told him, but he wouldn't listen.
He was like, I can't hear you. If only I would have done this when you were playing your loud music. Like, what is wrong with this dad? I feel like he's being very, very unreasonable, but there must be something behind it. Like maybe the hooligan neighbors are doing something. I don't know. But it's kind of messed up that he would blame his daughter so fast without even like questioning it. Like maybe she didn't do it, you know.
He grounded me and said that if I did it again, he'd start taking away my stuff, like my laptop and phone. I was totally annoyed, but I didn't say anything because I love those noises. I didn't want to make my punishment worse.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
Nothing like that happened again for a few weeks, and I didn't suspect anything until that one Friday night.
Oh no, not that one Friday night. Oh God, why is your mom's hands green?
Dad started screaming. It made me jump, and my little sister hid behind me. Dad's eyes were wild. They were staring right at the table as he continued to yell and scream.
I wish you would get hit by a car at this point. What the heck? I'm hungry. He sat down. Ah! That's what I'm getting at.
Right at the table as he continued to yell and scream. My mom tried to calm him down, but she couldn't.
He's wild.
Arms around wildly and
my God, he's got
over.
spaghetti arms.
Snakes! Snakes! He cried out. I looked around everywhere, but
what is happening?
I didn't see any snakes. It freaked me out.
There was no snakes.
Very strange, and I had no clue what was wrong with him. Dad didn't stop there, though. He went out to the garage, grabbed my old baseball bat, and began swinging it on top of the table.
Oh!
Stop! My mom yelled.
He took some bad drugs or something.
Until the dinner was ruined, plates were broken, and the table was snapped in half. I stood there in complete shock.
This is some picture-perfect Hello Neighbor material right now. I think your dad caught whatever the Hello Neighbor had, like honestly.
Swinging and swinging until the dinner was ruined, plates were broken, and the table was snapped in half.
Not the dinner.
I stood there in complete shock. I didn't know what to do. He was about to hurt my mom and sister.
Oh my God.
I screamed, begging him to stop, but he wouldn't listen. My little sister was crying and running away from him, and Mom couldn't protect her.
For a good reason.
My mom screamed, Call 911. I never imagined myself in a situation where I would call 911 on my own father. I grabbed the phone with shaking hands and I did it. When the police came, I explained what happened while my mom finally got my dad to sit down, but he looked completely out of it. The police came with an ambulance crew to make sure no one was harmed. They agreed to take Dad to a cell and keep him overnight until he cooled off. They suggested he also get checked by a psychiatrist because his behavior wasn't normal.
Maybe your mom got some expired pork chops. At this point, we're just considering everything. She's like, well, there was a special on alien meats, okay? It was cheaper.
I felt broken. How could there be something wrong with his brain?
I mean, it happens. I mean, it's out of nowhere.
He
It's crazy.
He acted like everything was normal. My mom tried to ask him what happened at the police station, but he didn't want to talk about it.
He started flapping like a bird.
He just said that everything was fine and it wouldn't happen again. I didn't believe him, and neither did Jenny.
Yeah, that's weird.
I started sleeping in her room every night after that, scared that my dad might snap and hurt her while she was sleeping. It was awful.
Just don't get on social
But
media.
for weeks, he was fine. Absolutely nothing weird happened, and I finally started to believe we were getting back to normal. But I was an idiot.
It's Hello Neighbor! The sad part about this too is when people go into those mental wards, whatever, a lot of times they just want to get them out of there. Like the hospitals, they just want to get the patients out and they don't actually give them the proper help that they need. They're like, oh, he's fine. He's telling us he's fine. So like, I don't even know what's the point of those things existing when they just like, oh, they're fine. Okay, release. When they're clearly not.
As Jenny and I were walking home from school one day, we saw our dad in the front yard.
Oh.
He was acting strange.
Hello,
And
neighbor.
when he saw us, he freaked out and accused Jenny of trying to kill him and convincing me to help her do it. He was saying strange things, and I didn't understand where it was coming from. Whatever it was, we couldn't ignore it, and I waited for Mom to get home so we could take him to the mental health clinic. The psychiatrist explained to him that he should start taking the medication he recommended last time, and my mouth dropped open in shock. But Dad, you said everything was fine last time. What's going on?
He lied.
I asked.
People do that.
That
They
was
just
when
lie
he
about
broke
it.
down in tears. He confessed that he'd been diagnosed with schizophrenia. He said that the doctors thought he was at increased risk of it because he suffered abuse from his parents as a child. And now he was having hallucinations. He couldn't tell what was real and what wasn't anymore.
Oh, they did say something about that.
He didn't want to take medication. He believed that the doctors wanted to hurt him. But obviously that wasn't true.
No, they're just
He kept
mobs. So
saying
that's sad.
that he'll deal with it on his own.
Especially if this is a real story.
On the way back home, my dad and I got into a big argument about his medications. He was absolutely refusing to take them and started talking about how there was some conspiracy against him. The fight continued until we went home. Even Mom couldn't convince him to take the medication. He thought she wanted to trick him too. My father was not listening to anyone, and I was losing my patience. Things kept escalating until I accused him of not loving us enough to take the medication and stop this madness. I told him that if he cared enough about his daughters, he would man up and do the right thing. But he obviously doesn't love us.
Ooh, dang. That's a little cold. I feel it's a little cold right there, okay? I had to turn these lights blue because that's just cold. Like, it doesn't really make sense to me because like if you already know that your dad's crazy, you couldn't possibly treat him as normal. All I can really relate to is like my mom, and I know that she's not exactly normal. I don't know what she has or if she, has been diagnosed with anything, but I know for a fact that she's not normal. And so like, it's sad because like you can't really have a relationship with them, but at the same time, when she does something crazy, I'm not gonna be like, you don't care. To me, it's just like, well, that's just how you are, Like, it's sad. It sucks, but that's just kind of how they are, it's not really something to take personal, even though it's hard, I don't know.
At that moment, I stormed out of the room crying, but I realized later that my words were very hurtful.
Oh, see, at least you know.
When I came back to check on my father,
oh, he's gone.
He was gone.
Oh no, I think we know what happened.
I asked Jenny if she knew where he went, and she said that after I left, my dad was crying and said that he wanted to prove that he loved us.
Oh, sad.
I panicked. Where could he have gone? My mom wasn't in the house. She was out to buy the prescribed... I had to act quickly, so I went out to search for him around the neighborhood, but couldn't find him. I also tried to call the neighbors, but none of them saw him. I was panicking. I decided that I'd better call the police before anything horrible happened.
Oh
to
no,
him.
are the police gonna run him over?
I felt bad because
oh no.
the way he left was my fault.
If this is a true story, that's kind of crazy.
No one knew where my dad was. The cops were searching for him, and by 4 a.m., I heard sirens. I jumped and went to see what was going on. 2 officers were standing at the door. They explained that my father was alive. They found him on the side of the street and he was in bad shape.
Oh,
Apparently,
that's okay.
He got hit by a car.
Oh, dang.
We could not grasp what had happened and how it all happened so fast.
In a
So
way,
we
this a
rushed
lot,
to the
again, a
hospital
lot
to
like
see
Hello
him.
Neighbor.
We saw Dad lying down, looking very exhausted and with several bruises. We went there and gave him a hug. Although his body was in bad shape, his mental condition seemed much better. Of course, he was under medication. When he felt able to speak, Dad told us what had happened with him. He said that after our fight, he wanted to prove to me that he loved me, and he went to the pharmacy without really thinking.
Aww.
He thought he could get there fast.
Oh, that's sad.
As he was walking, he started hearing snake noises, which he tried to ignore, but
Oh,
later,
no.
he looked behind him, and there were lots of snakes running after him. He panicked and ran away from the...
Okay, like, I'm not making fun of it at all. It's just that, like, I couldn't imagine it, you know? Like, I've never hallucinated and seen anything that wasn't really there, so I can't really understand how that could ever happen, but apparently, like, you know, it does happen to people, and, you know, being honest, like, yeah, I'd be scared too. I'd probably be doing that too if there was snakes coming after me. You know, if someone, like, just think about it. If you really believed there were snakes coming after you, you would go crazy. So, like, you know, all right. So that's why your dad was okay. It makes more sense now that we know the story. I'm glad he's alive. I don't know why, but I assumed that he wasn't, and that's what makes it crazy. Titles in 2005, me at the zoo. No, it's like that's the very first YouTube video. Titles in 2019, my dad was hit by a car and I was very happy. It's true, you know, those expectations are, you know, they're pretty high on YouTube now. Your dad was hit by a car, yay! My story animated has got like the best titles I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's hard not to click these. I wish I am ugly. I am too pretty. Relatable once again, you know, I'm too pretty myself. And so like every day I hit myself with a baseball bat because I'm too pretty. Smash like if that's relatable. If you're too pretty as well. Most people think it's ridiculous to complain about being beautiful. No, it's a horrible problem, okay? I'm constantly being showered by diamonds and money and like, no, that sounds amazing. No, it sucks. It sucks. Feel sorry for me, all right? Kaylee, I'm guessing is how you say her name, on the other hand, has another opinion. We think her story can teach us all a lesson on how we should be more kind to others. Again, you could send them emails. So I'm assuming that all these videos are stories that people send them. Whether they're true or not is not really up to My Story Animated. It's like, you know, for all they know, it's true. Let's react to this relatable story.
Hi, I'm Callie, and I'm going to tell you a story that might seem a little unusual. I'm really pretty. Like,
Getting angry right now. That's not the best way to start it. I'm very pretty, but there's just really no good way to say it, I think.
like, beautiful. I know that might sound like
okay.
bragging, and to be honest, it feels like bragging because I
It
don't
is
always
bragging.
feel beautiful. But enough people have told me I am that I've come to believe that is how most people perceive me.
You look
The
beautiful.
attention I got from my appearance started when I was a baby. People would tell my mom,
I mean, most
"Oh,
babies
you
are
have
pretty-
such a beautiful baby.
Most
You should enter
babies
her
are
in
really
contests."
cute, you know?
Pretty normal, right?
A baby contest.
People love babies. But it continued when I was a toddler. A modeling agent approached my mom in a restaurant when I was 3 to see if she could sign me. My mom said no. 3 was too young, she thought. But the attention didn't stop as I grew older. And eventually, my mom was asking me if I would consider a career in modeling or acting. By that time, I was starting to feel really self-conscious. People commented on my looks so much. I hadn't even hit puberty yet, and I was already getting catcalled on the street. I loved math and
I knew this was coming.
science, but nobody seemed to care that I was good at those things. Most adults I interacted with commented on how I'd be beating the boys away with sticks soon, or how I'd have no trouble finding a husband.
Plot twist, and so I did. The rest of the story is just her beating people up with a stick. So I did, ha 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 ha! And so that's why if you're too beautiful, you carry a stick. Okay, so here's what I'm getting out of the story. This kind of reminds me of a person that's born into wealth, right? Let's say a rich kid's dad. He's born into money and has pretty much everything, but later on in life, everyone's like, well, everything was given to you, so you don't deserve what you have, or there's no way that you worked for it, okay? Basically, if your parents are rich and you have money, then that means there's nothing you can do to make up for it, or there's like, you don't actually work hard. When some people, you know, probably do work really hard, but no one's ever going to see it. I'm guessing it's a lot like this. She doesn't want to be known for just her looks. That's what I'm assuming.
When I was 13, I started a YouTube channel dedicated to robotics, one of my greatest loves. But in the comments section, people would leave comments like, "You're hot," or "Shame you're not legal." Stuff that made me really uncomfortable.
Yeah, that would make me uncomfortable
I started
too.
wearing baggy clothes to hide the curves I was developing.
It's like Billie
I kept my
Eilish.
textbooks over my chest in the hallways at school. I started getting so anxious about when the next unwanted comment would come that I would spend breaks between classes in the restroom throwing up. I started showing up late for class so I didn't have to walk through the halls when there was a crowd.
Are you that pretty? Like, dang, like, she's like a superstar. She's not even trying. I feel like at this point, it's more like just her in her mind thinking that everyone's staring at her rather than everyone actually is. Because, I mean, sure, I mean, there's some really beautiful people such as myself, huh? And like, yeah, there's times where I can't even step out to go get my paper in the morning because the birds and the dogs and the bears and everyone in the town just comes to me and tries to, you know, tackle me down. But I don't think people care that much.
With being too pretty, people don't like you. Other girls think you're full of yourself.
Yeah, that would be true.
I can
I
brag
get
to their
that.
friends about how they got with you. People also don't think you're smart. I was the butt of so many dumb blonde jokes, even though I was a great student. Once, my mom told me I was so pretty that I wouldn't need to worry about going to college. I'd be able to snag a doctor or a lawyer, and he would take care of me.
Oh, that would be pretty, especially this guy. I don't know what the heck's going on here. That would be pretty offensive, like very offensive to me. Again, it just makes it to where all your hard work means nothing because, oh, you're pretty, so that's okay.
That hurt more than anything. Between my self-consciousness and the way my classmates resented me, I didn't have any close friends. And with the way people didn't take my aspirations seriously, I started to doubt my own ability to have a career in robotics like I wanted. So I decided that if this was how the world was determined to see me, as just an object, then that's what I'd be.
Oh no.
I traded my baggy clothes for low-cut tops. I started wearing lipstick and flirted with the guys who gave me attention, even if I knew they had girlfriends. I did not care about anyone.
All right,
I'd
chill.
gossip about the other girls who I knew had been gossiping about me for years.
Oh, she's getting
I stopped
revenge.
trying in my classes. A
It's like
couple of
Yandere
teachers
Simulator.
noticed, but I blew them off when they tried to talk to me. I wasn't sure if this made me happy, but I kept doing it, perhaps because I was so tired of proving my real self to others. I didn't stop. For homecoming, I wore the sexiest dress I could find. A chaperone told me I'd violated the dress code and handed me a sweater to cover up. Everyone looked at me and I could tell they were shocked, perhaps for two main reasons. One, this doesn't look like me because that's not my style. And second, well, because I looked very attractive.
Yeah, obviously, like I know that feeling. It's like you get so tired of people saying one thing and you try to be the opposite. So then to kind of sort of get revenge, you just lean into it and go full force. And now they're like,
Hey, no, that's illegal. Stop doing that.
what the heck do you want they? What have you guys been saying? Additional plot twist, and that is why I became a stick. No one will think I'm pretty if I'm a stick. Another plot twist, then the trees flirt with her.
Then a guy walked by and pinched my backside.
Oh no.
That was the last straw. I couldn't take it any longer.
Get the stick. Get the
I
stick.
started to cry uncontrollably. People began to stare at me, some of them snickering and whispering to each other. "What are you looking at?" I screamed at them. "Stop staring at me!" I couldn't stop myself. I felt so hurt and confused and alone. I fled the dance and went out to my car. My hands were shaking so badly I was lucky I made it home in one piece. I locked myself in my room and refused to come out. It's not like I could ever go back to school after the scene I'd made. On Monday, I had to go to school as my dad requested. I was so nervous I threw up before school. But I had a meeting with the counselor, who was really nice. I told her I knew how ridiculous and arrogant it sounded to claim I was too pretty, but she said it wasn't ridiculous at all.
Rephrase it. Like, don't go around saying, oh man, I have a hard time because I'm just too pretty. Like, you're basically just saying, hey, please hate me. Please hate me. You gotta say it a different way. Just say like, I don't like to be reduced down to my looks. That's the way that you could say it. But no, I hate that people think I'm too pretty. Nah, that's not gonna work. She's like, I'm gonna expel you now. Oh boy, can't wait to read the comments in this one. I wrote, you freaking comments are always the best in animated stories. I wore baggy clothes to cover up the curves I was getting. Me. I wear baggy clothes to cover up the roles I was getting. I didn't know being pretty and being smart was a problem. Let's trade. I'm dumb and ugly. Crap. When your life is so good, you start making up problems. Okay, as ridiculous as it sounds, it's a real problem. Again, it would be extremely annoying. Like, put yourself in the shoes, okay? Pretend that you're super pretty, okay? Nah, I'm just kidding. You are, all right? Say you wanted to be a robot. I mean, no, you wanted to say you wanted to go into robotics, which would be a really smart thing. It would require lots of science and stuff. But people are like, nah, you should be a model. And you're like, nah, fam, that's not what I want to do. And people just like, they won't take you seriously. It's like, hey, I would like to take the robot test. They're like, nah, go to the Tyra Banks show instead. I could see how that would get annoying. But in the broad scope of things, is it really that bad? No, I'd take being pretty. Give me the pretty. I really believe that, like, if you're pretty, you have a head start in life. It's just true. It's really, really true. I can see both sides. I ate my rabbit? This is freaking titles. I have to click. I have to watch. Not the rabbit, no. My story animated. I killed my dog and threw a party. Yay! My story animated. I fell into a vat of acid. All my skin fell off. But that's okay, because I went surfing like 2 hours later and it was cool.
Hi, my name's Marianne, and I just love animals. I live on a ranch in Texas, and we don't just have cows here.
I love the
We've
accent.
got horses and pigs and sheep and all kinds of other little animals, too. Like dogs and cats and even some rabbits.
So sad. It's gonna die.
Especially fond of this one rabbit we've got. His name's Snowy, and
Don't
he's got
tell
the
me that. I
softest
know what you're gonna
whitest
do
fur
to
I
it.
ever did see. My parents work super hard running our ranch, and they don't like me and my
I think your dad's Super Saiyan Mario. My story animated. I'm too funny. No one takes me seriously because they think I'm too funny. Please don't laugh at me.
and he's got the softest, whitest fur I ever did see. My parents work super hard running our ranch, and they don't like me and my brother getting too involved. We're allowed to help with the feeding, and I'm allowed to go horse riding whenever I want.
I've done that. I've
But
milked
when
goats.
it comes to the business stuff, they don't tell me anything.
Why should they? I don't know. It's kind of boring stuff. You trust me. I got to deal with business stuff too, but do I want to do it? No. I wish my parents would just do it for me. I'm making this about myself now. Have you ever milked a goat before? It's kind of fun. I don't know, just letting you know. See, I'm a farm. I've sort of been on a farm, kind of, or used to live there. My grandparents had horses, and they had rabbits too. We didn't eat any though, I'll say that.
So I tend to keep myself to myself, and I don't want to make the other animals jealous. So I'm pretty careful when I sneak Snowy some extra carrots or hugs.
Oh, no.
One weekend, my parents had some clients visiting from over in Louisiana.
Okay.
They must have been a pretty big deal because my parents had been running around like crazy, cleaning the ranch and dusting the house, and Mom even got her best china plates out. I knew they were interested in buying some of
She
Dad's
busted out
most
the
prized
china.
bulls, so he obviously wanted to make a good impression. I spent the whole of Saturday helping Mom fix supper. I did the salad and the dessert because I don't really like touching the meat, to be honest. So while Mom prepared the chicken,
I think
she
I know where
sent me
this
off
is
to do my
going.
homework and asked me to put on something nice. I could hear Dad laughing and chatting away to the clients on the porch.
Oh, my power level's so high. What is this, like Mickey Mouse? That was my best impression of a Super Saiyan Mario.
Oh, it all seemed to be going well. I thought about popping out to give Snowy some carrots that I'd put aside while fixing the salad, but I couldn't
Yeah,
see
give
him
your
from my
buddy some
window.
carrots. Oh no.
He must have been hiding under the porch.
Oh, I hope so.
At that moment, my mom called my name. So I figured I'd just go see
The music
Snowy
stopped.
after dinner.
This is not a
I
good
made
sign.
my way down the stairs and into the dining room and shook hands with the clients. They were both rather large men, and they were both dressed similar to my dad, kind of like cowboys. I mean, I guess
Yeehaw.
that's the standard uniform around cattle ranches.
Yeah.
We
yeah,
sat down,
sounds
and
about
everyone
right.
commented on how delicious my salad was. Although Dad made a joke about me
Please
being
t-
stingy on the carrots.
Please tell me you didn't have
I
any
silently
meat.
chuckled to myself as I thought about how happy Snowy would be getting a late-night treat from me later.
Oh,
Next up was the
please tell
chicken,
me he's
which
gonna
was
get
so
it.
delicious. Mom had skinned it and roasted it with potatoes and smothered
Are you sure it's chicken?
it in her homemade gravy. Everyone seemed to love it, and one of the clients asked my mom to send over the recipe at some point. It was that good. As we finished up dessert, Dad and the clients pulled out some contracts and sat down to finish negotiating. I excused myself and ran up to my room to grab the carrots and headed outside to feed Snowy.
Please tell me it's
I
not
headed straight
true.
for the side of the barn that he usually sleeps in, but he wasn't there.
Oh,
That's
no.
strange, I thought.
Oh, this music's
Maybe
not
he was
good. I
still
use
hiding
this
under
music
the
in my own
porch.
videos.
I looked there, but I couldn't see him.
Oh, no.
I ran to the other rabbit hutches in case he had been feeling lonely and snuck in beside one of the other rabbits. He wasn't there either. That's when I started to panic. What if he'd
Where
run
is
away?
he?
Or worse, what if he'd got run over on the highway?
Or worse, it's worse.
With
It's
tears in my
worse.
eyes, I ran to find my dad. By this point, the clients had left. My dad was feeding the horses in the stable. I ran straight up to him and asked, "Where's Snowy?" Dad looked at me in confusion and asked who Snowy was. I told him that Snowy
Yes, we
was
don't
the
name
big,
these
white,
animals.
fluffy rabbit.
Oh, so sweetie. We don't name these animals. Wahoo!
Playing with. He scratched his head and laughed. Then he said, "Oh, you mean the rabbit we had for dinner tonight?"
No!
He sure was a tasty one, wasn't he?
Oh, no!
Suddenly, it was like someone had punched me in the chest.
No!
I couldn't quite believe what I was hearing.
That's horrible.
I sat
She
down on
made
a pile of
they
hay and
made her
started
eat
crying my
her
eyes
own
out.
bunny.
I felt sick.
I
I
feel
looked up
sick
at my
too.
dad and started shouting at him.
I'm becoming
I
a
said,
vegan
"That's
now.
not funny. This isn't a time for jokes. Snowy is missing, and anyway, I
Oh,
know
she
that was
don't
chicken we
even
ate."
get it.
Dad just looked at me and told me to stop raising my voice. He said it was rabbit we ate, and that he'd warned me not to get too attached to any of the animals here. I could barely hear him as he
Okay.
kept lecturing me about
fair
how
enough.
this is the reality of life on a ranch, and I should know
Oh.
better. I thought about Snowy and his twinkling eyes, and the fact that we had just eaten my most favorite pet I'd ever had.
That's horrible.
I threw up. I didn't even have time to think about it.
I mean, don't throw up. I mean, at least ingest him, you know? Maybe that's what he would have wanted. Oh, this is horrible. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. So they actually contacted the parents, and the parents said, "This is the way we've been raised. Humans hunt to survive and must not be friends with our prey. We didn't mean to hurt Marianne's feelings, but she needs to understand our lifestyle." I could just imagine the email that you got. It's like there's tears on her computer screen as she writes it. "My bunny. I ate my bunny. And I was happy about it." Next up, I ate my dad for Thanksgiving. Check them out below, guys. Today's scrub of the day goes to